And just like that, here we are, part two of this series that we kicked off last week called Dear Women. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably keep with the same rhythm through the rest of this series and roll right into the clip after the intro. And today's clip is not really that long, but it's just as profound. It's got a really good nugget in here that I really hope you guys actually watch and listen to. But before we roll into this clip and kick things off, I want to ask us a question. And here's the question: how many of you seek the world's approval? Be honest. Be honest. Now, think about that question and think about your answer as we dive into this. So, with that said, cue the intro.
And then we have Mary, the mother of Jesus. For the women called to carry what others don't understand, that's Mary. Mary bore the greatest assignment in human history and the greatest scrutiny. Her battle was not only spiritual, it was social. Vulnerable and young, she said yes anyways. She accepted the weighty task of the motherhood to our Savior, and Mary's obedience speaks volumes because you might be dealing with an invisible calling too that no one gets, no one understands. The motherhood that no one values, the purity that no one respects, and the obedience that costs you popularity. But Mary reminds you, you don't need the world's approval when you have heaven's assignment. Mary, the mother of Jesus, did not fall. God was within her.
Now, if I was going to venture a guess, I would say when I asked that question in the beginning about how many of you seek the world's approval, there's probably three camps of those of you that answered that question. Those of you that were really, truly honest and said, unfortunately, yeah, I do. I seek the world's approval. Those that were also like, no, I really don't care what the world thinks. I'm going to do what I want and what God tells me to do. Okay. And then there's the ones that are saying that they're honest and truthful when in reality, they're not really being honest. You're saying, no, I really don't. I don't care what the world thinks. I don't seek the world's approval. But your actions say otherwise. Your actions speak to the fact that you do care what the world thinks and you do want the world's approval. Whether it's you want to climb the corporate ladder because the world says that that's what success is, or you want to have the nice new gadget because that's again what the world says is success. If you have the newest thing, whatever it might be, your actions speak louder than words. And I think too often women especially fall into this trap because, like I talked about in the Having Many Kids series, which if you have not watched that, I highly encourage you to go back and watch it. But the command that God gives us in the beginning was to be fruitful and multiply, to fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over it. Well, how do you fill the earth? How do you be fruitful and multiply if you're not having kids? And too often, women especially fall into this trap. Like I mentioned in that series, you want to be a girl boss and climb the corporate ladder and kind of be in the same room and show that you can compete alongside a man, which is admirable. And if you have, aspirations and things like that, that's great. But at what cost? Do you forego having kids? Because to be honest, I mean, yes, it takes two to tango. You have to have two people to be able to be fruitful and multiply. But the women are the one that, quite honestly, take the brunt of it. You have to carry the kid for 9 months, and so you're out of the workforce. And so a lot of women tend to not want to have kids because it kind of messes up with your career goals. So is that the right kind of mindset to have? Now, not everybody is cut out to be parents. Not everybody is cut out to have kids. So if that's you, then that's fine. Don't have kids. I guess focus on your career if that's what makes you uh, really, truly joyful and have peace. But on a whole, most women, most women find joy in being mothers. And so, this notion that Erika says at the end of that clip, you don't need the world's approval when you have heaven's assignment. So, think about this. Heaven's assignment is to be fruitful and multiply. For women, especially, to be fruitful and multiply. But the world's approval is to be successful, to climb the corporate ladder, to compete. So if you're struggling or striving to get the world's approval, you will forego heaven's assignment. And you'll forego having kids and having a family and raising kids and just, whether it's being a stay at home mom or you have a nanny or you put them in daycare, whatever the case may be, however you parent, because it all looks different and there's different parenting styles. But if you forego that altogether, the joy that most women have of being mothers and having kids, because you are striving after the world's approval, you will miss heaven's assignment. But like Erika said, you don't need the world's approval when you have heaven's assignment. So focus on heaven's assignment. Focus on what God says is important, what He says is supposed to be your priority. Focus on that. The example that Erika was talking about Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now, she was talking about the scrutiny that Mary was kind of getting because, of course, she was with child and they hadn't even gotten married yet, her and Joseph. But you don't really need the world's approval when you have heaven's assignment. So her assignment was to carry the Savior of the world, Jesus. So she didn't need the world's approval and didn't need to do things by the book, right? To get married and all that stuff because her assignment was special. Her assignment looked different. It was outside of the ordinary, outside of the box. Now that's not to say that having kids and not being married is the right course of action. For her, it was a different scenario. She was carrying the Savior of the world. What's going on, guys? Editing Alex here. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and clarify something. I mentioned in the video that Mary kind of did things out of the ordinary, out of the box, because she had heaven's assignment, that she didn't have to get married and all of that stuff. I want to clarify something. She did get married. It was the fact that it was kind of out of order, how it typically is done. Because typically you get married, then you have a kid. If you have a kid and you're not even married yet, it's frowned upon because that means that you were messing around and you weren't married. So for her, her assignment was special. Remember, the angel of the Lord had to appear to Joseph in a dream and say, "Don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife, because the child that she has is, you're going to call him Jesus, and he's going to be the Savior." So he went and he married Mary, and then they had baby Jesus. So it was just out of order because she was pregnant first with baby Jesus, and then they got married. So even though it looked different than what was socially acceptable and the social norms at the time, does not mean that they did not get married. It was just out of order. So I just wanted to clarify that. It's not that they did not get married. It's that not that she just, oh well, she was with child and, well, okay, that's just how it was. She just did not get married. No, she did. So, all right, back to the video. But for most women, if not all, those that are called to be mothers and are fighting that to seek the world's approval, I would just caution you to take a pause and reevaluate. Think about what you are putting first and prioritizing, and if it's the correct way you should be prioritizing your life. Because trust me, we all have goals, we all have ambitions, and we all have dreams. But we have to figure out if these goals, ambitions, and dreams are part of what heaven's assignment is for us. And if it's not, then we have to let it go. We have to let it go. So I thank you guys so much for watching this week. I hope this encouraged you, women especially, to reevaluate some things in your life if you've been chasing the world's approval, and think about and reevaluate, take an inventory, if you will, of your life and figure out what heaven's assignment is for you and follow that. Do that, and you will have a whole heck of a lot more joy, peace, and you won't be so stressed. So I thank you guys for tuning in this week. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And stay tuned for part 3 next week. So until then, stay safe and God bless.